Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danny D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas, and I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello, this is Coach Danny D with Workflow, and I am here with the Profits in Pajamas podcast. With Workflow, I help women who are creatives and in non traditional fields to create their luxury brand, but I also help them to create that. Work life balance where they're working with ease, where they're enjoying their life, and where their business is not, I call it, do you own your business, or does your business own you? I want to make sure that you are owning that business, that that business is under your control, not the business controlling you. So that's what I do through my coaching platform, but I also share some of that work with ease and work life balance through the podcast. So today, what I want to talk to you about, this week, the theme of fear has come up a lot, both in, I put out a few posts on in a group that I was in, as well as just people that I've interacted with, either clients or in networking situations, just conversations with friends. The topic of fear is one that is common among small business owners. And it makes sense. The reason why fear is something that comes up so much is because when you are a small business owner, you are going down a uncharted road in a lot of ways. So even if the industry is defined, it's still your particular business. How do you run things? Or there may be multiple options. Which one is the right option? Which way is the right way to go? When is it time to make this decision versus that decision? Are you going to be an online business? Are you going to be a home-based business? Are you going to be a are you going to have a storefront? Are you, going to invest in this new product, that a piece of equipment? Are you going to invest in this educational opportunity? All those different things are, things that can induce, fear, uncertainty, doubt, because you don't know what the right answer is. When you are working in a traditional career, I mean, of course, there's fear there as well, not, discrediting that at all, but there's someone else that's in charge of making sure it all works. When you're an entrepreneur, it kind of all falls on you. The buck stops with you. So that creates, a lot of fear and anxiety. The reason why I want to touch on the topic though is, we fear has its place. I'm not a believer of, people say be fearless. I don't think that that's a thing. I'm gonna be 100% with you. I don't believe that there's a thing of being fearless, because every emotion that you have has its purpose. It's the situation becomes dire when we let our emotions step out of their place. So I refer to all of my emotions as if they're all individual women. And so fear, her job is to keep you from dying, basically. So, when you see a bear, you get scared because a bear can kill you. When you see when you see someone driving erratically, you get that fear reaction because, if that person hits you, it could cause damage, that. So that's what fear is there for. Fear is there to keep you from doing things that can harm you, hurt you, or, cause your demise, right? That's what fear is for. But what we do is we start to give fear more um rights than she deserves, right? So she is there to make sure that you are not harming yourself. But she's not a decision maker. She's not a decision maker in your life. She's an advisory. So she brings to your attention, hey, there might be danger. But she's not the final decision maker. So we have to learn how to hear her and speak to her properly, but keep her in her appropriate place because she's not running anything. So if there is a danger, then we need to be able to assess that danger, and we need to be able to make decisions accordingly. But here's the thing, sometimes, we let that fear and we let our mind run through all the stuff that can go wrong. And we don't really lean into what possibility is out there. And that shift is so important. I've shared this before in, various different ways. I made a promise with myself several years ago, um, that if the only reason why I'm not doing something is because I'm afraid. Like if I can sit there, because there's an honesty that you have to have with yourself, when it comes to putting fear back into its appropriate place. If I can look at the situation and say, you know what? Yes, you may have come up with all of these objections, but all of these objections were spoken by fear. If I go back and look at the transcript, she was the one that said, well, what about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? And we need to put fear back in her place, but we also need to take confidence and put confidence in her rightful place, because your confidence starts to get bullied by that fear. And if you don't give confidence her voice to where she can come back and counter that fear, then you end up with a situation where fear is running the show. And I mean, when you give her reign, look, she can come up with some stuff. Well, you can't do this because remember that one time when you tripped and fell in front of everybody in the third grade? Well, you can't do this because remember that one time that you tried something and it didn't go well. But you have to let confidence use her, because fear is just talking out her neck. She's just talking. Confidence needs to be able to pull on the facts of the situation. Confidence needs to say, okay, yeah, you did fall that one time in the third grade, but you walk every day. And so there's like, billions of times that you didn't fall. Or yes, you had that one failure, but you've had hundreds and thousands of successful moments that far outweigh that one failure. And you failure is a teacher. So now that you've had that experience, it makes you better as you move forward. So even that failure is not a failure. So you have to, start to train that confidence to speak to, with authority to your fear. She has to be able to stand up and say, wait, we're blowing this out of proportion. Let's balance this a little bit more. And let's understand that, okay, when those two learn how to talk to each other in a respectful conversation, what it starts to look like is your fear says, well, I don't know if I'm ready. And your confidence says, well, we did this thing last week and we wasn't ready, but we did it. And your fear says, okay, but I'm worried about, you know, if I'm able to do this. And then your confidence can counter and say, well, we know four different ways to do this one thing. So if the first way doesn't work, we have the education, we have the knowledge, we have, the experience to pivot. So that's the balance that you want to achieve with your between fear and confidence. Because again, fear has its place. You know, I'm a planner by nature. So fear is what, helps me to solidify that plan because fear says, girl, what if you go to set up that job and it's, super windy outside? And confidence comes back and says, you know what? You have a good point. Let me go grab my additional weights. Let me make sure that I have all of the tools that I need to be able to pivot if something is different. Fear says, oh, well, you never did that before. Confidence says, I never did a lot of things before, but come on, girl, get in the car. We are going. We're going. You could sit back there. I might turn on the music and I might drown you out, but you're not sitting in the front seat and you're definitely not sitting in the driver's seat. Fear is a backseat driver. And she gonna be a backseat driver. Why you didn't turn there? Well, why you didn't? That's her persona. That's who she's going to be. But you have to continue to build your confidence up to where it can keep her where she's supposed to be. Make sure that she is not running the show. And just a few little secrets. The people that you see that are doing big things, they weren't ready either. Nobody is ever ready per se. Think about, people tell you that, like when you think about, well, when is the right time to have kids, or when is the right time to buy a house, or when is the right time? Nobody can answer that question for you because there is no right time per se. It's when you decide to take those steps. There's not a real full answer to that. You can say, oh, well, if the market's this, or you can give a projection of what best case scenarios, but there's no answer specifically for you that I or anybody else can give of when is the right time. The right time is when you build the confidence to do so. And you know the way I look at it, and I mean, I've been on the other side, so I know what that feels like, of like that not knowing and being uncertain and being scared. This is this is how I look at it now. Having gone through a lot of, like, letting go of that and readjusting my fear and my confidence. You're never going to get there if you never let go. So if you're trying to get to the deep end and you're still holding on to the stair railing of the pool, you're never going to get to the deep end. You gotta let go. You have to let go and start if you want to be able to get to the other side. If you want to see the result, you gotta let go of that comfort and be able to push forward and do whatever it is you need to do. And I know everybody has their own belief system. I believe that if God gave it to me. God gave me the idea, the thought, the dream, the assignment, the purpose. If He gave it to me, He's going to give me everything that I need to get there. And so far, so good. But I have to give Him my faith, that I know that even if I don't always feel like I can, I know that He can. And I know that if He put this on me, then He already has paved the way. But again, I have to give that step of faith. I have to be able to step out on faith and start moving forward, because you will never know if it's the right answer, if you can do it. You won't know if you never try. You could think about it, you could theorize about it, you can long for it, you can make 5 million plans. But until you take the step of action, you're never going to get to see that. And you have to, know in yourself that you are ready. You're as ready as you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? It's not like there's going to be a moment where it's, all of a sudden, you are, just going to get this like bam, do it. You have to make that decision. You have to make that decision that it's time for me to pursue my dreams. It's time for me to let go of the false narrative that I'm telling myself about the fact that I can't. Because at the end of the day, the people that are doing what you want to do are no different than you. They're just a human person. They're just a human person that made a decision to move forward. That's the only difference. They made the decision to move forward and they worked towards that. That's it. It's just that simple. And even the people that you admire, the people that are, like, light years ahead of where you are, they're where you see yourself as an end goal, and once you get started, they may not be that for you anymore. They may just be a stop on the road, but they are that, that mentor, that guiding point, that, whatever, what have you. They have the same anxiety, fear, doubt. They have that too. We all do, because we're human. You don't always see it. People don't always talk about it. But as you progress and as you get to know people and you have conversations, they all experience it as well. We're all making the best decision that we can with the information that we have at any given moment. That's it. That's it. And the reason why I share that with you is because I don't want you to build it up in your head that it's something else. It's just a decision. It's a decision for you. Am I going to commit to doing the thing that I want to do? Am I going to commit to building my confidence muscle? Am I going to let my confidence get back into her rightful place because I didn't put her on the side? I, you know, I said that we was rocking, and I didn't just put in. I've put her on the side, and fear got my entire ear. Fear is just telling me everything and how to move and when to move, and I'm not going to even say how to move and when to move. Fear is just telling me to sit still. You can't do that. Or what if people see the side of you that you don't want them to see? What if people see you fail? What if people think that you're not perfect? What if people, it's all those things that she's going to keep putting in your ear. um well, they not going to let you do X, Y, and Z. Who the hell is they? Who is they? It's all those thoughts that she's putting in your mind that is keeping you right where you are, because she is so scared that she doesn't want you to venture out. But she is not looking at it from a realistic standpoint. The the balance between the two, because I mean you can go the other extreme as well, and you don't consider things that you need to consider, and that's why I say they both are important, but there needs to be balance. And confidence holds a higher rank than fear does. And once you put them back in that rightful position where confidence holds that rank, man, your whole life changes, because now you're living out from your heart, from your passion, from your potential, from your full potential, as opposed to from your limiting beliefs. So I challenge you to put confidence back in its place. I challenge you to challenge your fear. When your fear starts talking to you and telling you things, I challenge you to sit in that and find out what is the reality of it. Because it sounds, when fear tells you something, I want you to rebuttal. I want you to learn how to rebuttal to what she's saying. Wait, no, 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 because I have done. And one of the things that I always um put forth for my clients, I tell them to start a success journal. And what that is in brief is basically cataloging your success moments and how you felt in that moment, and keeping track of that. And I think it's great to keep track of on a daily basis, because we have so many victories in just one day. And they may not all be, massive, but it may be that you were, stuck on something. Let's say you were working out something and it was, a tech issue, or there was a a issue of trying to solve a problem for a client, and you worked through that and you solved it, and you felt great and accomplished in that moment. Now, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 days, a week from now, you're not going to remember that, because it's just a part of your daily routine. But for some reason, we remember the things that we do wrong forever. So it's a counter to that. So start a success journal. Start writing down your successes. Catalog your work. So, I work with a lot of creatives. So a lot of times we do catalog because we, post pictures on Instagram or this, that, and the other. But how often do you go back to that stuff? How often do you, go and look through and really take hold of how much you've accomplished? How often do you go back and read client reviews? Doing those things are important because it starts to train your mind to listen to your confidence. It starts to train your mind to remember that no matter what has happened over here, as far as, failure and doubt and all of that, you still you still that bomb chick. You still did all of this. And somebody's sitting back admiring what you've done. So that's one, tip to try to get that balance back between confidence and fear. The other thing that I would definitely say is be mindful of your circle. Be mindful of your circle. So I feel like it's very important. I call it, an advisory board. Just like if you had a nonprofit, or sometimes in even for-profit businesses, there's an advisory board of people who are comprised with different skill sets that help to kind of shape the business, right? So the same thing is true in your life. Who are those people that you can lean on as an advisory board? And I think that it's important that those people both um feed you when you need to be, fed, and let you know your greatness, but also that are not uncomfortable telling you no, or telling you when you're wrong, because you need that balance. But in this instance, as far as the confidence and the fear, that advisory board, I know that if I'm in a moment of fear or self-doubt, I'm just like, I don't know. I know that if I turn to my advisory board, they are about to run down my, entire life resume to me and remind me of, who I am and what I have accomplished. And I do the same for them. So that is another tip on building a better balance between confidence and fear, because a lot of times we need somebody outside of us that sees it, because fear will have us spiraling, because she didn't put all the ideas in. Think about her like that messy girlfriend that's like, girl, have you checked his phone? Well, if you ain't check his phone, you don't know what he's doing. Like they putting the idea in your head, and you just, in a weak moment, you spiral with that. Whereas, you need that advisory board that brings you back to the other side and say, girl, if you don't sit down, like don't even listen to that. Don't even let that seep into your spirit. So make sure you have that advisory board. So you want to get your success journal. You want to have your advisory board that can help you, find that balance. And then sometimes just as simple as speaking it out loud. So giving it words, because sometimes we, if I ask somebody, well, what do you fear? Well, I don't really fear anything, but that's a fear. But you don't internalize it as a fear, because you let it slowly seep in. So it doesn't come out boldly as fear. It's kind of like weaved itself into your thought process. Don't let it get that far. When when an opportunity arises, when you have an idea, when something comes up, and automatically your mind just goes to the negative, or what could go wrong, or when that happens, speak it out loud. Just say out loud, man, I am scared. I'm scared. Because when you identify it as fear, then you can address it. But when you don't identify it as fear, you start to internalize it as fact, that this is a fact, that I can't do this, or this could go wrong, or this is too, expensive, or this is going to be too hard. You start to internalize it that way. And you don't realize as you progress that it's fear, because she's sneaky too. She's sneaky with it. You don't realize that it's fear. And since you don't realize it, you can't address it. So that moment that you feel that fear coming on, just say it. Just say it out loud. Just put it out there in the universe. I'm scared. And if you got to go to your advisory board, go to your advisory board. If you got to, go read that confidence journal, read that confidence journal. Everything that comes up in your mind in fear, write it down and counter it. Counter every point. And if you can counter every point, then it's just fear. And you can overcome fear. You just gotta move forward. You just have to be bold enough to move forward, because when you kind of bow up to fear, she talk a good game, but she'll bow down. Like they say, she don't want that smoke. She will bow down. But you have to show her that she needs to bow down. You have to let confidence find its voice. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. But I just really wanted to, touch this topic, because, the whole, point of this is to get to that point of working with ease, but we gotta work through some stuff. We got to work through some stuff to get there. We have to work through some stuff, and to get to where because work with ease is not the same as staying in your comfort zone. It's really getting to the point where the things that you need to do to be the best you become comfortable, because they may not start out that way. I have often shared with you guys, I'm an introvert by nature. Networking did not start out for me as something that was comfortable, but now it's just like, all right, let's go. Because, and it's not about changing who you are, it's just about unlocking that part of yourself that knows that, because ultimately it wasn't so much me being an introvert that made networking intimidating. It was the fear, because it was a situation that I was uncomfortable in, so it created a fear. But now, I don't, that fear is not associated with it. My confidence muscle has come in and said, you know what, girl, go sit down. Go sit down with all that nonsense. We're about to be us. We're about to, hang out with some really great people, and we're about to walk in purpose. And it's a totally different experience. So I just want you to start feeling that experience. So get that success journal together. Start calling fear out. Get your advisory board in order. If you don't have people that you can lean on that are that, you got to start meeting new people. You have to start, searching for something different, because you're not going to get, new results doing the same old thing. And if you are at that point where you're ready to start your success journey, where you're ready to jump all in, you know that Coach Danny D is in your corner. So if you are looking to make that type of transition, you can always go to coachdannyd.com, and you can book a discovery call, and we can talk about it. We can talk about what offerings are there for you to help you along that journey. So we letting fear, we letting her go back to her, put her back in the back seat, unstrap her from, if she got the keys to the car, go snatch them from her right now. Go snatch them. Get her back in that back seat, get confidence back in the driver's seat. And to do that, to make that very clear, pick something today that you've been holding off. Something, just any something. It don't matter what it is, but something that you've been holding off. It might be something as simple as, I've heard people say, well, I never, really formalized my business. And it's because they think that it's a big thing to do, and it's really not. Go on the website right now. Go on your, Secretary of State website right now, and go, find out what the process is. It's probably like a 30-minute process that you can just do and get over with. That's the first way to start getting fear in her place. It doesn't have to be the hugest thing in the world, but if you bold, do the big thing. I'm not gonna stop you. But even if it's the small thing that you've just been putting off, go and do the first step. Whatever that first step is, go and do it, and get yourself in motion, because once you have a small success leads to big success. The other thing I want to say real quick before I let you guys go is, I do have my goal setting workshop, which is going to be on June 22nd. That's another way for you to, step out of that fear, set some goals, some meaningful goals that are going to get you where you want to be. Not just, the things you're supposed to say. We make these New Year's resolutions, and it's just like the things I'm supposed to say. No, where do you want to be? And let's make some meaningful goals that match where you want to be. And then let's align our daily actions to those goals and put a system behind it so that you can be successful. So that's what the Goal Setting for Success workshop is all about. You can sign up for that. You can either go to coachdannyd.com, and it's on the homepage, or you can go to goalsettingworkshop.com, and and you can sign up there as well. I'll put both links in the show notes, and you can sign up and you can get on that path, because it's basically just putting that one foot in front of the other. But if you don't take that first step, if you don't let go of the wall, you're never going to get there. You have to be able to build up your courage to move forward. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of the day and week. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at CoachDannyD.com.